Will the Eagles defense be elite again in 2025? It's a pretty simple question. And that's what we're going to kick the show off today with. Plus, Nick Earnshaw, 97.3 ESPN South Jersey, joins us live at 8:45 to talk Phillies as they pick up their series with the Braves. You're going to not want to miss that interview. Guys, trending in the AM, talking all things Eagles and some Phillies today, live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, as always, YouTube, Twitter, you know the drill. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that share button, and, of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. It's the only place where you can vote on the poll question of the day. So if you're watching on Twitter, head over to the YouTube page to vote. Where will the Eagles defense finish in the NFL ranks in 2025? The best in the NFL again. Top 5, top 10, outside the top 10. They're your options, and we're going to talk a lot about the Eagles defense and how can it be elite again. But please hit that like, subscribe, and share button, please. What we do here, we set the trends for what sports talk should be here in Philadelphia, guys. So please do that for me. I'd appreciate it, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and yes, we got a jam-packed show today. Tomorrow is the start of the NFL season for the Philadelphia Eagles and the NFL, and there's a lot to dive into, lots of little nuggets from yesterday's practice and media availability, scepter-related issues, banner-raising issues. But sitting there and I'm perusing Twitter, and I'm reminded of how the Eagles are 31st in the NFL in money spent on their defense, only spending $61 million at this point this year on their defense. 30th, one spot ahead, spends 40 more at 101. The top defense, Houston, spends 179. Now, obviously, we have the most expensive offense in football. We've got the second cheapest defense in football. And they were the number one defense in football, total yards last year, passing, second in points given up, top 10 in rushing yards allowed last year. So they were a pretty damn elite defense last year. We lost 5 guys on this defense. So will the defense be elite again in 2025? Will they be the best again in 2025? And that's a question I'm going to ask. We're also going to talk at 8:45, Nick Earnshaw, young up-and-comer here with ESPN 97.3 South Jersey, be joining us to talk Phillies, the rest of this Brewers series, the rest of this season for the Phillies. Looking forward to talking to him for the first time on Trending in the AM. Nick Earnshaw, great follow on social media, and also just a rising star in the media ranks in this Philadelphia region. So very excited to have him on. So guys, let's get right to the comments here. Good morning. Actually, we're at 6:17 now. We're onwards up. Good morning, Duck. How you doing today? Yes, this will change. The numbers will change. It'll swing. The pendulum will swing on money spent. But it's kind of crazy to think that we have expectations for this defense to be at least top 5, right? Maybe tops again. But they're only spending $61 million on it. And that's a combination of great drafting from Howie Roseman. Great finds like Zach Bond. That's a combination of, Vic Fangio developing guys. That's so many combinations on why this $61 million defense can be elite. And I think it's so crazy. If you look at the top 5 defenses in money spent, Houston, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Chicago, and Denver, there might only be 2 playoff teams in the top 5 of spending on defense. So can you get away with not spending on defense? And how do you do that? I mean, the Chargers are 30th. We're 31st. The Chargers, they still spend over $100 million. It's kind of an insane thing when you really see the numbers written down on how cheap it is. And yes, it's a combination of getting Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Jalen Hunt, Zach Bond being this gem, okay, out of nowhere, having 2 rookie stud cornerbacks. Having an undrafted free agent in Reed Blankenship, who maybe gets that extension announced today. These are all the things that kind of play into it. And I know it will change. And I'm curious how it changes, how Howie maneuvers the money. We know he's a money genius. But you got number one spent offense, 31st spent defense. How does it swing? Where does the money come from? Does he have to make a tough decision and cut somebody or trade somebody that's expensive on offense to then afford Jalen Carter and whatnot? So it's going to be an intriguing thing. But the question is, will the Eagles defense be elite this year? Will they be number one, best in the NFL? Early voting, there's, I think, one vote on that. Over 57% of the early votes say top 5. 29% of the early votes says outside the top 10. So how will this defense overcome losing Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, and all that, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? How will they handle that? And will they be able to be as good as they were last year? And I think it's going to, I've said this plenty of times, I think there are going to be some hiccups this year. I think there's going to be moments where our patience is tested with this defense early in the season. Very difficult start to the schedule with this season. So how do they do that? I mean, we've seen some hiccups with the backups, I guess, so to speak, in the preseason and training camp. But again, we didn't see Jalen Carter or Zach Bond or Quinion Mitchell out on the field much. So what, with all these new moving parts, Jihaad Campbell, Drew Makuba or Sidney Brown, Jacorian Bennett or Adoree Jackson, Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt having to take bigger steps in their development. Moro Ojomo, we have high expectations for him. All these guys that got to step up. We kind of need all of them to step up to an extent. And will they be able to do it? Will they be able to fill the shoes that led the Eagles to have we always talk about last year with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, but not enough people talk about how elite that defense was last year. They literally were the number one total defense in the NFL last year. Number one in total yards, number one in passing yards, number 10 in rushing yards, number 2 in points given up. That's as elite of a defense as you can have. And can they follow that up? Can they match that? Good morning, Big Al. Happy Eagles Cowboys Eve. Yes, it's the Eve. Good morning, Little G. Let's kick some Cowboys butts. Testing Eagles fans' patience isn't saying much. I agree. Growing pains and beginning of the seasons will play factors. Yeah, I mean, this defense last year, despite them being, at the end of the year, the number one total defense, they struggled the first 4 weeks, right? They definitely struggled those first 4 weeks. Now, I mean, the loss to Atlanta early in the year, that was kind of like one of those fluke things with the Saquon drop. But overall, the defense did struggle a little bit to start the year. Mac McWilliams will be the answer in the secondary. It's funny. We spent a lot of time for a stretch there in training camp and preseason games talking about Mac McWilliams and how he was climbing the depth charts and how, there was a chance. And then the last kind of week and a half, all the reporters and all the reports have kind of not mentioned his name in the sense of who's battling in that secondary. It was going from Keely Ring, like his name was in there with Keely, with Dory, and with Jacorian. Now, all of a sudden, the last 5 or 6 days, it's just the three of them. Mac McWilliams' name is not out there. And I wonder if that's just the vibe that's going on. Do I think Mac McWilliams can be an answer eventually in this secondary? Absolutely. Whether he's on the outside or in the slot. But will Vic Fangio unleash a rookie cornerback too early? I mean, Cooper Dejean's pedigree, Cooper Dejean expectations last year were a lot higher than Mac McWilliams. Cooper Dejean was a first-round projected draft pick. We got him in the second round. Mac McWilliams, what, third, fourth round? If Cooper Dejean is not allowed on the field till week 6, I don't know, Mac McWilliams will be out there too early in the season. Good morning, Davey. I've been busy lately. Are we looking any better in the secondary? going off reports. Nothing has changed because they still have not announced who's the starting cornerback opposite of Quinion Mitchell. We're basically going to have to wait till tomorrow night when the defense takes the field for the first time to find out who is starting in that secondary. And we're talking about, can this defense be elite? And we still don't know who one of the starting cornerbacks are, and we still do not know who one of the starting safeties are. How elite can a defense be when you still have two starting question marks the day before the season starts? And I still think they'll be elite. I just think there's going to be a slow start that we have to set our expectations for. Defense struggles last year because it's a new scheme with a bunch of rookies and second years who are playing in a new scheme without the vet experience. And I think that's fair. It takes a long time to learn the Vic Fangio system. But see, the thing is, we do have a lot of guys coming back. But we are replacing 5 contributors, some very important contributors and starters on the defense this year. So there's 5 of the 13 or 14 guys that'll be on the field throughout the game. Need to learn a new system still. So that's kind of why I think there'll be some developmental lags this year. Safety room is still a bit suspect. Cornerback 2 is still not set and won't be set until week 3. Yeah, I agree. All of this. Drew Makuba was back at practice in full yesterday, which is a sign that he is good to go for Thursday night. But are they going to start Drew Makuba over Sidney Brown? Now, Sidney Brown, in my opinion, he's a special teamer. He's not a starting safety. But he's a guy that's been here for a couple years. He knew the system from last year. Drew Makuba has missed at least half a training camp. So although he's the rookie, he's the second-round rookie, he's probably overall better and more skilled physically than Sidney Brown, does he know enough yet to start? And I don't think he does. Linebacker was a huge question mark on the eve of last year. It was. I was thinking about this yesterday, thinking about how I'm going to roll out this topic. And I asked this on Twitter a while ago. Who's going to be this year's Zach Bond? Will it be Keely Ringo? Will it be Sidney Brown? Mac McCoy? Who's going to be that guy that comes out of nowhere and just becomes Zach Bond? I don't think you can expect anybody to become Zach Bond per se, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, now we're in a point where linebacker isn't a huge question mark again for the next however many years because you got Zach Bond, because you got Jihaad Campbell. You got poor old Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who would be the starter, but Campbell's so damn good, he's going to play over Trot. You got Smile Mondin developing in the wings. You still got Nakobe Dean claiming he'll be back by week 5. Now, I don't buy the Nakobe Dean coming back by week 5 part, but that's something else. We went from having, fits over losing Kazir White and TJ Edwards to, having question marks about linebacker every single year to having arguably one of the most dominating linebacker groups in football. It's crazy. Sidney Brown is a head case. Sidney Brown is a nice guy. He's a nice depth piece. He's a great special teams gunner. Maybe he could return kicks if he wanted to with that reckless attitude. But Sidney Brown's just not a starter in the NFL, in my opinion. Sidney is hopeless. Can't keep him just to play special teams. Well, you're keeping him because he knows the defense. You're keeping him because he's on a cheap rookie deal. You're keeping him for special. You're keeping him for a couple things. But do they start him tomorrow night because of the experience level in the system? Or do they really literally go with the unknown of Drew Makuba right like that? Can you go with the unknown of Drew Makuba knowing that cornerback 2 is still just as much of a question mark? We have to keep Nakobe, but and also before we get to that, Davey, sorry, you also got to remember you got Marcus Epps here on the practice squad, and he may be one of the call-ups tomorrow. My guess is Britton Covey's one of the call-ups from the practice squad to return punts, and it's either Marcus Epps or it's going to be Kyle McCord to play quarterback 3. So you also have Marcus Epps to throw in there. While he doesn't know the system very well, he's a veteran. He's been in Philadelphia before, so the moment won't be too big for him. Throw that out there too. We have to keep Nakobe. I love that guy. I'm a huge Nakobe Dean fan, Davey. Have been since day one. And I argue that at one point last year, he was playing as good as Zach Bond. And if he doesn't get hurt, he would have the whole offseason changed because of it. But now with Campbell, now with Trot Jr. stepping up, what do you do with him? Maybe you hope he can get healthy, and then maybe you trade him. He's on the last year of his rookie contract. I don't know. We've had this conversation on the show previous times in general about what you even do with him. And I don't think, he says he'll be back week 5. I find it hard to imagine with that injury he's ready to go by week 5 in any capacity. Brown is not a starter yet because he's a torpedo with zero football IQ. And we've been saying this since the day he was drafted, since we saw his college highlights after we drafted him. I've used the word throttled, or the phrase throttled down with Sidney Brown so many times. And he's never, we're entering year 3 for him, and he still hasn't figured out how to throttle down. And on top of that, he's been hurt a lot. So he's a special teamer. He's a depth piece. But he might be your starter tomorrow night against Dallas. And you need that secondary to perform at a very high level against Dallas. Look, Dallas stinks. I get that. Dallas is going to be a bad football team. We are going to beat Dallas. But let's not act like Dallas cannot put up passing yards. Dak Prescott is a very good gunslinger. Not great, but good. He's got one of the 5 best wide receivers in football in CeeDee Lamb. Quinion Mitchell put him in lockdown. George Pickens is no slouch of a wide receiver, too. So whoever's out there is going to have to stop him. Those safeties, Reed Blankenship and whoever, are going to have to help the cornerbacks lock everybody down. Now, their running game is suspect. Their offensive line is suspect. But they have the ability to throw the ball around. And whoever's at safety there needs to be ready for that. We don't need the fans freaking out because in the second quarter, Dak Prescott's 150 yards passing already. Someone needs to teach Brown controlled aggression. Yeah, he has too much ruthless aggression and not enough controlled aggression. All right? You got to throw those future champions out there as fake security guards to reel him in. But they don't know how to do that. And maybe he's not capable of doing that, Big Al. Maybe he is not capable of that. Maybe it's not built into him and he can't learn it. Maybe that's why he's not necessarily a not a fan favorite, a Vic Fangio favorite. But maybe Vic Fangio is trying to teach him these things, and he's not applying them. If Nakobe gets healthy, we can use Jihaad on the edge. Absolutely can. And I think he will get used on the edge more and more as the year goes on. I get that. But what about Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? I mean, everything we've read, he's right there. Neck and neck with where Nakobe Dean was last year at this point. So I think it's a very interesting, again, let me preface this by saying I do not think Nakobe Dean, if he plays, we won't see him till week 10, 12, somewhere down the line like that. I do not expect him back by week 5. I think that would be a shock. Electric dog holler will sort of, when we had our first dog, Decker, which crazy. It was just 5 years ago the other day that he passed away. It was our first dog. We had him for 15 years. He was my best friend, best man in my wedding, everything. We got one when we were trying to train him. But I had too much fun with it. Before I even put it on him, just like holding it in my hand, my wife wouldn't let us use it because she was afraid of what I might do to him with that, because I just like to screw around. I know it wasn't going to hurt him, but yeah. So yeah, maybe an electric dog collar, and let Vic Fangio hold the buzzer. Maybe that tames him a little bit. But when I look at this poll question, where will the Eagles defense finish in the NFL ranks in 2025? Best again, top 5, top 10, outside the top 10. I know top 5 is winning the poll. And I do think they could finish in the top 5. But will the fan base have patience that they need to have with this defense? The offense is literally the same exact offense as last year, substituting Tyler Steen for Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton's got some weird stories, unsubstantiated, but weird stories floating around about his personal life right now. It's kind of weird. The offense is going to click instantly. I got another same-game parlay for tomorrow night's game. I'll release that later in the show. Gave you one yesterday. I'm going to give you another today. The offense is going to hum like that. I know you got a new offensive coordinator, but your new offensive coordinator's been here, been working with Nick Sirianni for 4 years already, knows what he's doing. I have all the faith in Kevin Petula to at least carry on last year, maybe improve upon it, okay? But on the defense, I think if there's an unknown, it's the defense, not the offense. And yes, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, Zach Ball, Jihaad Campbell, Quinion, and Coop, they are what they are. But there's still 3 other spots that got to be rotated with new people. And I just don't know how it's going to turn out just yet. Epps is so much better than McCollum when it comes to run support. Howie and Dombrowski did well working the margins this weekend. Because Dombrowski had it. Well, we'll talk baseball at 8:45 when Nick Earnshaw from 97.3 ESPN South Jersey joins the show. But, yeah, I mean, it was a good addition, Marcus Epps. And I said it the second he was released or waived, whatever it was. I think it was released because he didn't have to go through waivers. I instantly tweeted out, Marcus Epps back in Philly. Because it just made so much sense. I don't know that Uncle Vic is that cruel as to use a shot collar. Maybe a water. I do have those. When dogs are barking too much, you just spray them with the water bottle. I love that. Defense just needs to be top 10. Great comment, Marshawn. As long as the defense is top 10, is that good enough to get back to the Super Bowl, to repeat as Super Bowl champions? I mean, the schedule we faced last year was nowhere near as difficult as it is this year. The offenses that we are going to, the offenses that we are going to face this year, the Chiefs, the Rams, the Bucks, Denver, Green Bay, Detroit, the Chargers, Buffalo, Washington. There are some elite offenses that we're going to face. So it's going to be tough to be the best defense in football a second year in a row. As long as we are not the size group. Yeah, exactly. It popped up recently, me reminding myself how I was so against Sean Desai and Brian Johnson entering 2023. I think you are correct. That should be good enough. And that should be good enough. Will the fans accept that being good enough? That's another question. 8:45 question, why do the Phillies have a day off? I know. It's so weird. I will bring that up when I introduce him. McCollum was allergic to any type of run fit. Plug and shrug was a foreign concept to him. Yeah. I was shocked. It's weird. Some other things with the Eagles. I want to bring up 2 other topics. Again, 8:45 in about 20 minutes. Nick Earnshaw will be joining us. 2 other Eagles topics I want to bring up, okay? 1, Nick Sirianni said yesterday that the Eagles players will not be on the field tomorrow night for the banner raising, the championship celebration ceremony. Hey, is that right or wrong? I actually lean on that being the right decision because that's one of my big concerns with this Eagles game was, will the Eagles be distracted with all the pomp and circumstance going on before the game? There's no distraction if you're not on the field for the banner ceremony. You do your thing, you warm up, you go to the locker room, you come out and start the game. It's a very interesting topic. I saw some people tweeting, my man Ryan Rothstein just tweeted earlier this morning, that how disrespectful it is to the fans for the players not to be on the field. I don't even know if the players really won't be on the field. Okay? Maybe that was just a Nick Sirianni whatever thing he said that he backtracks on. But they will not be on the field as of this moment tomorrow night. And I think it's a weird idea, but a smart idea when you think about it. Also, the Eagles released a statement telling fans without tickets to not go down to tailgate. And that's just a stupid thing. Because when you tell Eagles fans what not to do, they're obviously going to do the opposite. Plus, on top of that, all those tailgaters that don't have tickets, what do? They spend money at not Xfinity Live, Stateside Live. So you're affecting the other businesses in the area by telling them not to go down. And that all comes from the SEPTA, we'll call it financial situation that is becoming a problem in Philadelphia, not just for sporting events, but for commuters, period. So I want to know what people think on those 2 things. I'll hold off on critiquing the defense too harshly until week 5 or 6. Yeah, that's me too. I need a good, solid 4 to 5 weeks to really know what this Eagles defense is. I truly believe Uncle Vic and his staff have the advantage of game planning for a specific team in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, Uncle Vic's game planning and strategizing is top notch. He understands what he wants to do. He understands what the personnel he has and what they can and cannot do. I mean, that's what happens when you have 147 years of experience of coaching defenses. You kind of got something to draw upon. Our fans will have anger seizures if we aren't ranked top 5 in every category. Fantasy football and Madden have ruined fandom. That's why I'm so glad not to be in fantasy football anymore, world. Like, I'm so glad about that. I think our defense will be top 5. However, our defense will be top 5. However, I feel good. I think that's a fair way to say it. I think they're about 4, 5, 6 when the season ends, but I feel good about it because the way if they are 5, if it plays out the way I think, Davey, by week 5 we might not even be top 10. We might be in that 12 or 13 category. Okay, but then we will get better as the season goes on, like last year, and then get back up to that top 5 level defense. I really think that's what it is. If it wasn't a division game, maybe they would be on the field. You think it has to do with the division game? That's an interesting one. Why the division game has anything to do with it? Question is, how quickly does Howie overcorrect for not signing a true cornerback, 2 and safety and defensive end? Overcorrect means like overpay to bring somebody new in. I don't know if he overcorrects and stresses the team's future out by anybody. But he's going to wait and see what week 1 and week 2 play out like and then make a decision. I mean, the bye week or the bye week's not till week 9. But the trade deadline's not till later in the year anymore, so they have time to figure it out. You sit there and blow the coach when he wins, but complain when he does things that he thinks will help them win. I had to adjust my opinion on Sirianni, so those fans need to sit down and shut up. Oh, absolutely. I thought you were – when I first read the first line, I was like, what? What did I say? Yeah. I'm shocked that that's what they're doing, not being out there, but I also love that they're not going to be out there. Because, again, the number one concern this week has always been for me the distraction of the first game as Super Bowl champions. That there's a lot that's going to go on tomorrow night, including me giving away this football, the 2 autographed pictures. We'll be live about 7:30, 7:40 tomorrow night, and we'll be giving these away before the game starts, so don't miss it. I don't expect much continuity from the starters for a few weeks. And I think that's a fair thing to expect. I mean, how many times did Bill Belichick with the Patriots or Andy Reid with the Eagles come out to 2-2, 1-2 starts to the seasons, 1-3? When you don't play your starters in preseason games, there's going to be some continuity issues, some communication issues, some rust to work off. The day off for the Phillies is like the home opener, keeps weather from playing a factor in the series. It's part of it. It's part of it. And kind of get the team not being on the field. The team leaders may have come up with that to keep them grounded. I mean, everything you hear, I mean, I heard Cam Jurgens yesterday afternoon after Nick Sirianni said that, saying we're over last year. And I think it's the continuity of the message that last year's championship was great, but we've all moved on from it. And I think that's a great mentality to take, Big Al. Move on. Focus on this year. We have not won anything this year. It's all about what we're going to win this year, not last year. Okay? So I love, in theory, what they are doing. Will it help or not? I don't know. How long do we see until Howie makes the Kevin Bird trade or the Ndamukong Suh trade signing? See, the thing is, Kevin Bird, the Bird trade, that was or Byard trade, sorry, was an overreaction. That was what you said. The Suh signing was more of a depth addition that turned out to be more important in the end. But the Byard move was that's what you're talking about. I don't know. I think they give it 3 or 4 weeks. They're going to see if Brown can do it. They're going to see if Drew Makuba is ready. I still think that they hope by week 3 or 4, Drew Makuba is the guy. I think 2003, we had a Tuesday off after Trot Nixon beat us with an extra inning grand slam, but it wasn't the middle of a series. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. It slows you going forward if you spend too much time looking backwards. And that's what's great about this Eagles team, is that there is there's continuity in the message. There's continuity in the ideas and the theories coming out of this locker room. they're all on the same page. They all have that same feeling of moving forward. And that's what's going to make this year's Eagles team have the opportunity to do what they want to do and repeat as a Super Bowl champion. Jalen wasn't going to let the team bask in last year's glory. No Eagle will watch the banner. Like, and it's so funny because I didn't even think of this. Other than it being a distraction, all season I've been saying it. We have Cowboys week 1, banner being raised. That's going to be a tough battle. You know what's funny? The Eagles were 7-point favorites originally. Micah Parsons gets traded away. It only goes up to 7.5. Nick Sirianni says yesterday that they're not going to be out on the field. It went up to 8.5. So that Nick Sirianni line raised the betting line more than Micah Parsons' trade did. Think about that. Justin Simmons will be the suicide. Now, I'm so far over the Justin Simmons situation. If they'd rather bring in Marcus Epps to the practice squad than Justin Simmons, either Justin Simmons isn't wanted by Vic Fangio, Justin Simmons won't accept a depth role, or Justin Simmons isn't good anymore, or as good as he thinks anymore. This is 2 years in a row that Justin Simmons has been hanging out there late in the offseason this year to the start of the season without a job. If you bring him in, fine, I don't care. But I think the Justin Simmons ship has sailed, and I've been saying that for a very long time. Byard didn't fit here. No, he did not. I don't think he fit the system. I think he's still playing, but I forget where. It was just, we kind of overreacted a little. I think we put too much expectation and hype on what he was really going to be capable of doing. 52 more subscribers. Yes, we are sitting at 617 subscribers this morning. Big day yesterday, gaining new subscribers, especially last night. So, guys, keep hitting that like button. Over 10 likes right now, but not enough. 10 likes, but 15 votes. So, like, share, subscribe, please. Vote on our poll question as well, guys. Doesn't not being on the field become a distraction since it's going against tradition? Is it a tradition? I don't know. They're not going to be asked before the game about not doing it. They might be asked after the game, but the distraction would be if they had media availability before the game. Oh, but you're not going to do it. So I don't know. I do know there's fans that are going to be upset that the players are not out there basking in their glory, not accepting that. But you know what? Nick Sirianni's earned the right to make that decision. Jalen Hurts has earned that right to lead that decision and not be questioned. Any decision or comment from Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts, whether we like it or agree with it or not, should not be questioned. They have earned the right over the last 4 years to make these kind of decisions and not have it backfire or not have it questioned. And if it backfires, you know what? Oh, well. They've earned the right not to be nitpicked on these things. Is there a likely cornerback we all would love to trade for if what we have currently doesn't work out? Honestly, Davey, I have no idea. If there's somebody that you could trade for right now that would have that really good impact. You know, there's depth pieces. There's more Jacorian Bennett's out there. There's more Keely Ringos out there. But there's not a 30-year-old former All-Pro. There's not a Darius Slay level type player. There's not a young stud out there. There's no way you're going to go out there and get a stud at cornerback too. You got to hope what we have could figure it out. The undervaluing of a defensive end outside linebacker's ability to set a run edge is astounding. It's almost like glazing Joey Gallo's home run hitting. I still have concerns about the pass rush with the Eagles this year. I do have some concerns. You know, we're putting a lot of expectations on Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt to take that next level. Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari, you know, finding that former glory. Jihaad Campbell, if he slides outside at times, you know, people are already expecting him to be Micah Parsons. Who else is there to get a pass rush? At this point, Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt each need to get 10 sacks. So if I have a concern on defense, yes, safety is suspect. Cornerback, too, is suspect. But no one's talking about that edge rush this year. there's question marks on it for sure. You'll question whatever you want. How dare I question you questioning things? Steven, I miss doing Fairway to Heaven now with you and Jason. I miss it. Maybe we do one next week for the Pro Cure Championship if you're up for it. No one is giving up a young stud or high-value vet. That GM would be run out of town. Like, I mean, you got to look at teams like the Saints, the Browns. I know one of the Browns cornerbacks has been rumored to be traded over the last couple weeks. Look at the worst of the worst teams, especially in the AFC, and maybe one of them wants to get traded. I don't know. The Browns, the Raiders, 49ers, Saints. One of those teams might have a cornerback that in 3 or 4 or 5 weeks they could trade. But I don't know the names. Most likely it wouldn't be somebody that would be that much of an upgrade over what we have. I think their expectation now is their expectation was Keely Ringo with Adoree Jackson as a backup. Now I think the expectation is Jacorian Bennett with Adoree Jackson as a backup, and eventually Mac McWilliams. How much is Ty Robinson, the Vanilla Gorilla, expected to play? I'm not sure. He was on the field a lot in the preseason. I would expect him at least to play the Tyler Booker role last year where he was the back end of the rotation. I think Tyler Booker played just under 200 snaps last year. Not much. Maybe a little bit more than that. You've got your Carter Davis and Moro Jomo rotation. You also got Ty Robinson. You got Gabe Hall, Byron Young, Ty Robinson. So you got about 6 guys there. And I think instead of one, like last year, Moro Jomo got a majority of the backup snaps, the 4th level snaps. I think it was like 400 for Moro Jomo as that 4th guy and 175, 200 for Tyler Booker. I think that levels out. I think it's more equal between the guys. I think they'll rotate more. Ty Robinson looked more vanilla than gorilla. But again, who was he playing next to? He wasn't playing next to Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis, or Nolan Smith. He was playing next to Patrick Robinson. He was playing next to Gabe Hall. So everybody's ability can be elevated when you've got real guys playing next to you. Elite players, when you got an elite player next to you, it makes you that much better because they're worrying about the elite player, not you. What's up, my man? Thank you very much for the kind words. We do this every single morning. Make sure you like, you share, subscribe, bring your thoughts. And in about 8 minutes, we got a great guest joining us to talk some Phillies baseball. So stay tuned. We got lots going on. Is Makuba playing? Makuba was a full participant in the last 2 practices. Okay? He will be suited up to play. I highly doubt that he starts. I think maybe they get his feet wet with a little bit, or if Sidney Brown completely fails, then they put him out there. But Drew Makuba will suit up. Drew Makuba will be on the field at some point in some capacity. He also played a lot of slot in preseason games or in practices in the dime formation. So maybe you see him 1 or 2 snaps in the slot, a couple snaps at safety. Despite me not wanting it, I still expect Sidney Brown to start tomorrow night. And I think it's going to be very similar to cornerback 2. That what they start the season with tomorrow night will not even be what it is 5 weeks from now. Makuba will probably get a few snaps because he's young and needs. But again, I hate comparing this year to last year. But Cooper Dejean was in a similar situation, banged up and hurt in training camp, missed a lot of practices. He got dabbles, a little play here, a little play there. The first 4 weeks, then coming out of the bye, week 6, he was a full timer. And that's what I kind of expect from Drew Makuba. We don't have the week 5 bye this year, but by week 5, week 6, Drew Makuba will be the starting safety at some point in the first half of the season. And that's a part knock on Sidney Brown, but that's part a compliment on what Drew Makuba is capable of doing. So that's why I'm kind of torn and in between on what they're going to do. Doing a quick refresh here, see where we're at. We have 12 likes, still 617 subscribers. So guys, like, share, subscribe. We got 16 votes on the poll right now. Best in the NFL, 19%. Top 5 defense, 44%. Top 10 defense, 19%. Outside the top 10, 19% as well. Again, this is not a good Cowboys team, but this Cowboys team does have offensive talent that we have to watch out for. You let your guard down, it's very easy for CeeDee Lamb to have a breakout or have a big game. Dak Prescott's thrown for 300, 400 yards against NFC East teams how many times? His win-loss record's not great, but you know what I mean. I don't want this to turn out to a shootout tomorrow night. I want the Eagles to win handily, win easily. I think they can. We'll get predictions tomorrow. We will not know who cornerback 2 is until week 3 at the earliest. Makuba will take the safety 2 position by week 5 at the earliest. All right, so week 3, week 5. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely okay with that. Speaking of that injury report, everybody outside of Tanner McKee. Now, that is something to think about there. Because you can elevate 2 guys from the practice squad. Tanner McKee will not be playing in my expectation tomorrow. Guys, we're going to pivot. We'll get back to Eagles talk here in a few minutes. But, guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button. We're going to switch to some Phillies talk here today. And joining me on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, one of the best young guys in this Philadelphia sports area market, Nick Earnshaw. I don't have enough time in the show to name all the places you work, but 97.3 ESPN and so many other places. My man, Nick, good morning and welcome to Trending in the AM.
Phil, I thank you so much for having me. I very much appreciate it. I love what you do. I love the show. I was listening on my way in to work. Yeah, I work at about like 18 different places, so you don't need to know all of them, but I'm all over the place all the time. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. It's just so much fun. I love talking Phils. I can't wait to talk Phils this morning. I mean, what's better, waking up talking baseball?
Well, before we get to the Phils, I just want to say it's like, we spend a lot of time on this show not just talking sports. We spend a lot of time talking the media and the evolution of the sports media. I mean, 25, 30 years ago when I was a freshman in college with a journalism degree, trying to get it, that wasn't my end degree, but like it was so much different then than it is now. And you're a young guy, you've graduated college. Like back then you didn't have to have 8 jobs to get your name out. Now kids are not kids. Anybody's a kid to me. But, you got to have 8 jobs right now. That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, hey, we're making it work. It's a lot of fun. And I will tell anyone, if you don't love it and you're going into this business, I work at a college as well. I run a college radio station. It's one of my other jobs, right? One of my alma maters. I tell them all the time, I'm like, listen, if you don't love it, if this isn't what you want to do, don't do it. You got to love it if you're doing this stuff. But I love it. It's a lot of fun. Talking sports, I mean, it can't be better than that.
Absolutely. Just for anybody watching, I do have Nick's new YouTube channel linked in the description, so make sure you check it out and subscribe as he's building his new YouTube channel as well. All right, so we got the Phillies coming off of their random day off in the middle of a series, which is just, I don't know, it's just weird. You have all that momentum after that big win on Monday night, and then you got to take a day off. So they're coming into this game against the Brewers tonight, and let's just start very generally speaking. There's very 2 far ends of the spectrum right now. There's people that are 100% believing that this Phillies team is different, and then there's people like me that believe 100% that this team is no different than the team the last 3 years, and that this regular season is meaningless. It's all about what they can do in October.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you because, look, they're kind of entering Sixer territory, right? With this team, it's every year they get hot all of a sudden, and then they all go cold at the same time. That's what scares me to death heading into the postseason, right? Is Schwarber going to do what he's doing right now? He's 8 strikeouts in the last 3 games, okay? After that 4 home run game, it was awesome. We loved it. But now he has 8 strikeouts. He can't get a hit. He can't get on base. So, that's an issue, right? Trey Turner having this all-world season. I was dead wrong on Trey Turner. I will admit that. He has had an awesome season. He's lived up to the contract finally in this year at least, okay? Are those guys going to go cold? Is Bryce Harper going to go cold? Are those top guys going to go cold? Because that win on Monday against the Brewers on Labor Day, that was a lot to do with the bottom of the lineup. You're not going to get that type of production every single night. I will say that was probably the best win of the year in my estimation with all the unmitigating factors, right? You had Sunday Night Baseball. You get a late trip into Milwaukee. You even had Rob Thompson say after the game, I'm going to bed. I mean, that's what that type of game was. So it's a good thing they have a Tuesday day off, which does not happen in Major League Baseball very often. So it was a great win, and I think it was the best win because they came back, they battled back, all the unmitigating factors outside of it. Those guys are human too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was the best win. Bader came to show up. Brandon Marsh was huge as well too. And he's had a great, second half, I guess a little bit before the second half as well when he came back from injury. But that was the best win I saw all year long because you had Taijuan Walker pitching. Yep. And, he's been good, but he wasn't great on Monday against the Brewers. So, listen, they scare me like you do. I just got to see them get hot at the right time. And I said this about Nick Castellanos too. If he can give you one nuclear series, just one nuclear playoff series like he did a couple of years ago, all is forgiven. Help them win one series in the playoffs. Cassie, you're good in my book if you do that. But I got to say it. He's been awful this year. So
there's so many names that you mentioned that I wanted to touch on there, but then you just end with Nick Castellanos. It's like up to 2 weeks ago, I was still giving the benefit of the doubt to Nick Castellanos. And I'm like, dude, it's a platoon. And I love that Rob Thompson is finally adding Nick Castellanos into a platoon situation because it's rightfully so. If the playoffs started today, I don't know if you could play Nick Castellanos. Like, how can you not start Marsh, Bader, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but Max Kepler? Like, right now, they're the three best outfielders at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a musical chairs in the outfield at this point. I mean, Castellanos has the lowest on base of his career. If the season ended today, right now, his slug isn't much better. I think that might be his lowest too. I mean, he's just not having a good year. And I don't know if you've noticed, he's been a little bit of a mope lately too. I mean, it's just something since he's been taken out in the ninth inning just a couple of weeks ago. He's been a real mope lately. I mean, I know he got hit in the arm the other night, but just the demeanor from him I haven't loved that either. I think you got a platoon. And Kepler, listen, he is somebody who's really stepped it up over the past month. I mean, you got to play him, right? You got to actually platoon these two in right field, but you got to keep Bader in every day. That's the key here. Absolutely. If you're not going to bring up Justin Crawford, keep Bader in center field every day. I mean, the guy's hit over 300, about 313 since he's become a Philly. He was bad those first 10 games, but has really turned it on as of late. So, I mean, listen, you got to kind of platoon Cassie. If he's not going to go out there and give you, he's never going to give you a great at bat, but if he's not going to hit for power, he's not going to hit doubles. I mean, what's the point of playing him every day? You might as well play Bader every day. And I'd even consider Marsh in left field every day with how he's swinging the bat.
I was going to say you platoon Kepler and Castellanos in right because, I mean, Bader, I agree with you everything on Harrison Bader, but I don't think people realize, I see your comment, Anthony, I'll get to it in a second. I don't think people realize that since he came back from the injured list early in the season, you take that first month of the season out of the equation for Brandon Marsh, he's been really damn good this year.
Yep.
He has not been as bad as people think. Maybe he might be one of your best outfielders. You kind of have to play those two guys every single night.
Yeah, and I like Marsh way better in left than I do center. And Bader, I mean, the guy just oozes ball player, right? And I agree, Anthony. DFA Castellanos. I mean, hey, he's been that bad. That's how bad he's been.
Anthony's been saying that for about 2 months on this show. We could be talking Flyers hockey, and Anthony drops a comment about Castellanos, and I love it because he'll tell you, I've been a biggest give him time, let him get out of the funk like Max Kepler guy on Castellanos because I think the Phillies are better when Nick Castellanos is good than not good. If you get last year Nick Castellanos, the Phillies are a better team, but it just doesn't seem like he's going to be able to break out of it. So
yeah, I think with Cassie, just give me one good series in the postseason. That's all I ask. Like hit a couple of dingers, right? Help you win a couple of ball games. I'm cool. I can forget how bad you were during the season, how bad your defense is. You give me one good series, I'll take it. I'll take it from Cassie because I can't see him being here next year. I just can't. I put out a clip the other day. I just don't see it. I don't know how they'll move off of him, but they could get a bag of rocks for him. I don't care. They're probably going to have to move off of him heading in next year. But even if they win or lose, it's just you're seeing it now. Like, yeah, I don't think he's back. He just doesn't fit here anymore. Time's up.
Yeah. Marshawn wants to know if you're in a classroom right now. You got the whiteboard behind you. You got the classic high school cinder blocks behind you there.
I am. Yeah. Everyone always asks when I do Nuggets. I do here. It's one of my 18 jobs. I got to find the spot, right? So I'm in our production studio right now. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know how you move on from Cassie, but let's move on to the pitching here for a second because if you would have asked me a month ago whether starting pitching, not relief pitching, starting pitching was going to be a major concern entering the playoffs, I would have laughed at you if you asked me that question. But with Zach Wheeler now gone for the year, and it's a damn shame, but you got to figure it out. Outside of Chris Sanchez and Ranger Suarez, there's got to be some concerns. I know they're going to a 6-man bullpen. They got, what's his name? They're bringing up, anyway, they're going to 6-man rotation right now, but you're not doing that in the playoffs. Who's third and fourth, and how much confidence do you have in Nola and Luzardo or Walker in a playoff series when you're going to need both those guys to pitch?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Phillies are the one team that can actually withstand losing a guy like Zach Wheeler. I think they do have enough there. Sanchez, I'm cool with him game one. I think he'll be just fine. Sanchez has been awesome. All right. Absolutely. Game two, Ranger, I'm cool with him being in the rotation. I wanted him actually to come out of the bullpen originally before the Wheeler injury. I thought he was the best option. He has the best stuff. He's done it before. I would have preferred him to come out of the bullpen. But he has to start now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's got to start. So you have Sanchez, Ranger, and I don't think there's any way Aaron Nola can't start. I think you have to start Nola. You got to let him. You just go. Just let him start in the postseason. He's done it before. You got to give him credit. He's had a really good pass in the postseason. He's come up big at times. He's struggled at a couple starts in the postseason, but he's had some really good starts as well. He's been there, done that. He also hasn't pitched as many innings this year. So you're getting a more fresh Aaron Nola heading into the postseason. Listen, he hasn't been great since he's came back. I understand that, but you're stuck here. You're stuck. Do you want to go with Luzardo? Luzardo pitched against the Phillies in the postseason. I don't know if you remember that with the Miami Marlins. He wasn't great. So you got to go. I think it's Sanchez. I think you go 3, especially in the DS, right? Just to start. Sanchez, Ranger, Nola. Those are your 3. Luzardo can come out of the pen. Walker, I don't know if he even makes the team. Whatever you want to do, he's not starting in the postseason. And then Walker Buehler, the other Walker, I'm very curious to see how they utilize him. I know they're going to bring him in to start with a 6-man rotation coming up here. He's got to start in AAA as well. But I think those are your 3. I think it's Sanchez, Ranger. Ranger's been good in the postseason, and Aaron Nola. Give Nola a shot. I'm a pro Nola guy. I've always been a pro Nola guy. I think he can get it done in the postseason. When the lights turn on in the bank, I think he'll be just fine.
I love hearing that because I'm a huge Nola guy too. I know he struggled this year, but he's had these kind of years in the past. I hope it's a big start for him tonight, going up against Milwaukee in this game tonight. Huge start for him for not just for the success of the team in the series and the year, but for his confidence level tonight. The thing that eases my concern with the starting rotation, something that Rob Thompson has done in the past in the playoffs, was have a very quick trigger finger with starters, pulling guys in the 4th or 5th inning. If it even slightly gets, a little out of hand, and now you have such a deep bullpen with all the moves that you can make that quick trigger. You could pull somebody in the 4th, Luzardo not having his great stuff. You could pull him because you've got Duran, you've got Robertson, you've got Kirkgreen, you've got Strom, you've got so many guys, Tanner Banks, who no one gives enough credit to on how good a season he's having. You can have that quick trigger figure because you could throw Tanner Banks in the 5th inning when things gets tough.
Yeah, listen, when it comes to Tanner Banks, he was awesome. Even in that loss against Atlanta on Sunday Night Baseball, he needs to come in and clean up Kirkering's mess, okay? He gives up the 1 run, but he was awesome. He got out of that jam. That could have been much worse. That's a microcosm of Tanner Banks this season, how good he's been. That was a perfect example of bases loaded against Atlanta, 1-0 game. He allows the tie, but, it was a weak ground ball to second base. So I think Tanner Banks has been awesome. I think they have enough pitching. I don't think it's going to be a problem. The Phillies are the one team that can withstand the pitching. And by the way, there's teams out there like the Dodgers. They don't have a great bullpen. The Mets don't have a great bullpen. The Phillies aren't the only one. And the fact that you get Dejean to just lock down the 9th inning, he's been awesome. And we have the amazing entrance that I got to see at some point. I got to get to the ballpark to see that thing. Yeah, I think they're okay pitching-wise. I'm not as concerned with pitching. It is the lineup for me in the postseason. Okay. The pitching, I think, is going to be okay. I think Nola, when the lights turn on, usually when it turns this end of September, early October, he pitches much better. He bears down, and I could trust him a little bit. So rotation, I'm cool with. And I think the bullpen's actually been pretty decent. So I think they'll be okay pitching-wise. Topper's decisions, listen, I think that's a culmination of Dombrowski and ownership as well. I think it's those guys are the ones who decide this before the game's even started. They already know what they're doing. And Cotham is really big into that. We've heard that Cotham makes a lot of those decisions as well. I think it's a culmination of all of them. So that is the pitching wise. I think though, with the lineup, that's what just concerns me. It shouldn't concern you with all the talent that they have, but the lineup is the concern overall.
The lineup and Rob Thompson. I've always been called a Topper hater because I criticize the guy a lot. How would you grade the season that Rob Thompson's having as the manager? Has your opinion evolved at all? Because my opinion cannot evolve on him till I see what he does in October. Because again, like I said, everything in the season doesn't matter till October.
I'm a pro Topper guy. Like, I think he's the perfect manager for this team. Imagine how many egos he's got to deal with on this particular team, right? I think he's done a fantastic job managing the team. And you can criticize him every once in a while, right, for taking a guy out too early. I mean, the World Series was the biggest one when he took Wheeler out, right? Like, that was like one of the biggest ones of his career early on, right? So we know that this has happened before. And that he has, made some questionable decisions, taking guys out too early, leaving them in too long, etc. But I don't think it's just Topper. I think it's a microcosm coming from upstairs as well, going to Caleb Cotham. I don't think it's all Topper. So I'm not putting all the blame on Rob Thompson. I think the way baseball has changed over the years, especially since Moneyball, with the analytics and having your president of baseball operations, GM, so involved, as well as in this case, the organization has their pitching coach very involved in the decision-making of taking out and pulling guys. I think that is, I'm not going to put it all on Topper for those decisions. So that's why I'm not going to criticize him. I think he manages this team very well, and that's why they've made the playoffs every single year since he's taken over for Girardi.
Yep, we're talking to Nick Earnshaw here about the Phillies. Obviously, we got swept by the Mets. It was an awful series, last week. And that brings up the conversation here as we get close to wrapping this up. Your confidence level against each of those teams that we could face, the Mets, the Brewers, the Dodgers, they're the three main threats really to the Phillies to get back to the World Series. Is there one that you're more confident that they can handle in a best of 5 or a best of 7 series than the others?
I mean, listen, I hate to say this because I rip New York fans all the time. I don't want to see the Mets. If you're the Phillies, you don't want to see the Mets. It's just a bad matchup for them. I mean, you saw last year in the postseason how that worked out. I mean, I was at game 2 when Castellanos hit the walk-off, right? Like, they almost lost that game. So it's not even like a home or away thing. I don't want to see the Mets. It's just a bad matchup for them for some reason. They can't figure it out against that team. And the Mets have their number. And it's weird. The blue and orange teams in New York have like Philadelphia teams' numbers. You got the Knicks owning the Sixers over the past couple of years now. Then you got the Mets. I mean, can't stand it. It's New York. But I don't want to see the Mets. I don't like the way the Phillies match up against them. It's just some type of block. I don't like the body language they had in that series as well. So I'm out against the Mets. I think they have a better shot against the Dodgers. And, I know they're the defending World Series champions. They're the Dodgers, for goodness sake. But the Phillies have had their number over the past couple of seasons, especially in the regular season. Now, I know the postseason is a different animal, but the Mets, it's just something about them, man. I wouldn't want to see them. And you're going to either face the Mets or Dodgers the way it looks right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So real quick, before I let you go, we have 2 questions. We got the poll question of the day on the YouTube channel. It is a Little Eagles because it is the eve of the season here starting. Where will the Eagles defense finish in NFL ranks? They were top defense overall last year. Best in the NFL again, top 5, top 10. Outside the top 10's got just as many votes as best in the NFL, which is kind of crazy on the poll right now. If you had a vote, what would you vote on where this Eagles defense will finish this year?
See, for me, I think they're going to, I'm concerned like you. I think the Eagles defense will still be good, though. I really think they're going to be fine. I think they finish, I'd probably go top 5. I think they're going to finish in the top 5. I still think they're that good. I know cornerback 2 is going to be interesting. That's going to be a musical chairs. If Jacorian Bennett can stay healthy, he can stay healthy, I think they'll be okay. I like the linebackers. They have a little depth problem on the line, but I think I go still top 5. They're still going to be good enough.
Real quick, there was a question from Steve here. Okay. How do you feel about Alvarado since he's been back from the suspension?
Alvarado, for me, really hurt this team, in my estimation. You could have had a bridge to Lidge type of situation if you still go out and get Dejean. They were still going to go get an arm no matter what. But I'm the thing with Alvarado is, I mean, I would just use him as much as possible. I mean, he's been okay since he's gotten back. Just use him as much as possible until the postseason. Save some of your other arms for the playoffs. Yeah, I'm not too happy with Jose Alvarado. That really hurt this team.
I said this before. I don't think there was enough outrage. And I even said on the show multiple times, I didn't want him back. Not because he couldn't help us, because he effed this team. He took everything into his own hands, and he screwed this team pretty big this year. Who knows how the season would have played out if that didn't happen. So it's a really tough one because I'm so bitter on what he did.
Yep. Yeah, I am too. I'm the same way. I would just see. I'm the opposite. I would run him into the ground, pitch him as much as you possibly can. That's what I would do. Because you might as well utilize him if you're getting him back for at least a little while. Save some of those arms for the postseason.
All right, so we have a tradition on this show with first-time guests. This is your first time on Trending in the AM, and there's already votes going on the poll in the chat on how you're going to answer this question. It's a very simple question: Godfather or Goodfellas? Now, before you answer, there are people in the chat that think you probably are so young you've not watched either of these movies, but I'm going to have faith that you've watched at least one, if not both these movies. You have to pick one: Godfather or Goodfellas.
I have seen both. I am a Goodfellas guy. Goodfellas guy through and through. So I have a story behind this. My brother is a massive mafia movie. He just got into Sopranos. He's a little younger than me, actually. But my dad and I love Goodfellas. That's a good one. We always crack up at the scene, where what's the one scene where they're laughing at him like, you think I'm a clown? That one, yeah, that's like the best scene ever. Like me and my dad and my brother crack up.
My favorite scene is the restaurant when he takes his soon-to-be wife to the back of the restaurant. As an old-school Italian, I know people that owned restaurants like that, and that's it. That scene just gets all in me, feel-wise,
awesome.
Every single time. Guys, we got to let Nick go here. Nick, thank you very much for your time, guys. Tell everybody where they can find you today, what you're doing, because 18 jobs, I'm sure you'll have about 17 shows today that you're working on or producing or commenting on. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can follow me at Earnshaw Radio. That's N Earnshaw Radio on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just started the YouTube channel. We have a great guest tonight that I'm interviewing, one of the 2008 World Series champion pitchers. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but we have a great guest tonight. So check that out as well. I'm at 97.3 ESPN. I'm on every day at 4:30 for Knicks Nuggets, and the Locker Room on Saturdays from 10 to 12, co-hosting and producing with Billy Schwein. And then I run Camden County College's radio station as well. I'm the station manager there, 91.5 WDBK. And also you'll see me at University of Pennsylvania games as well, maybe roaming the sideline or doing some play-by-play. So all over the place in South Jersey and Philly. But it's a lot of fun. Love talking sports. Thanks for having me, Phil. I appreciate it.
Now go get your F and shine box, as they say. Thank you very much, Nick. We'll talk again soon.
See you guys.
Thanks. All right, that was Nick Earnshaw right there on the I Have No Sponsor hotline. Very much appreciative of his time. Let's reset real quick, guys. You're watching Trend in the AM. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. If you haven't yet, share. And, of course, subscribe and vote on our poll question. Where will the Eagles defense finish the NFL ranks in 2025? Lots of comments. I tried to put up a few of them. There was a lot going. Yeah, get a sponsor soon. I wish. It was a great interview. Nick's a great guy. Nick does a lot of fantastic work. And, again, typical of this new media generation, you got to have 18 jobs to make it work. I love having the no sponsor hotline too, Mitchie Poo. I think it's a great line to have. Eagles spend all their money on offense. They did. We've talked about that. Real quick, I want to wrap up some of the things that Nick said about the Phillies. And I think he was spot on with a lot of his takes on the Phillies, that it's all about the offense. Pitching, while we're scared of the starters, the bullpen is deep enough. You've got a very top-heavy first two guys out there. Nola has to start. The bullpen is great. It comes down to the offense. Will they be hot or not when October rolls around? And who they have to face? If they have to face the Mets, I mean, it is what it is. My favorite part is how De Niro spins his hand as he is stomping out Billy Batts. Spins his hands? I don't even think I know what that exactly means. After wrap-up, Eagles have top D. However, Howie lets them walk. They have the top D, but lets who walk? I'm not sure there. But anyway, I think it was great. I appreciate his time. Who is the one player on D not on rookie contract? Who has the one? So rookie contracts, rookie contracts or 1-year contracts, because Zach Bond's on a long-term deal. Reed Blankenship will be in the next day or so, be on a long-term deal. think that's it. Everybody else is on rookie or one-year deals right now. And that's why they're only spending. They're 31st in the NFL, Mad Chatter, in money spent on defense at $68 million. Number one in the NFL in spending on offense. So it is a very interesting dynamic team-wise that they're not spending on defense, but they will have to in the coming years, obviously with Jalen Carter, first and foremost, due for his extension this offseason. That number's going to jump. And then in a couple of years with Coop and Quinn. Yeah, he does spin his hand as he's giving Billy Batts his beatdown. I don't know if I ever noticed that. Now I have to watch it again. Best part is business is bad. Fuck you, pay me. Had a fire. F you, pay me. The place got hit by lightning. F you, pay me. I know. I love that. It's such a great movie. It's such a great quotable movie. I love Howie's strategy if you are good at drafting. Yeah, but it's going to change now because they are going to have to sign a lot of these guys. Now, the salary cap in the NFL will continue to rise. So where I think that money has to slide from the offense to defense, it won't have to slide as much as some people think. And, of course, Howie's very good at giving out these extensions before the dollar amounts get too big. He gets these extensions done quickly and early most times. So you're not overpaying like a guy like, Jerry Jones does in Dallas or like Cincinnati does. But there's going to also be some tough calls, whether it's a Nolan Smith, whether it's a Jalix Hunt, a Trot Jr., a Nakobe Dean. There's going to be popular guys on this team that have to be let go at some point because you can't pay max dollar to every player on offense and defense. It's just a nice pen. I just want to know if it belonged to someone. Yeah, it's a nice pen. I just don't know if it belonged. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry, I was forgetting. It's the shine box scene. Anyway. But yeah, so great Phillies conversation, great Eagles conversation going on, guys. If you haven't, like and share and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Do you think Jalen Carter will take a team-friendly deal like Jalen Hurts did? Describe team-friendly deal, because Jalen Hurts did and didn't take a team-friendly deal. He did in the sense where he signed his deal before anybody else. He still signed a $255 million contract, which only ranks him now 8th in the NFL. Jalen Hurts signed that deal very quickly in the first possible offseason before other contracts get signed and bloated up that number. Jalen Carter, it's not like Jalen Hurts took a discount. When that contract was signed, Jalen Hurts was the number one paid quarterback in the NFL for a few minutes, for a few days, few weeks, whatever it was. So it wasn't like he took a team-friendly deal. He structured it in certain ways, bigger signing bonuses, less in-season money. Yeah, things like that. So will Jalen Carter take a discount? No. But Jalen Carter will agree to a deal quickly, which big picture, long-term, will help the Eagles, if that makes sense. Are you or anyone else getting snacks out the Eagles fan jet? I'm not doing. I'll be live streaming. I'll have a little snack down here tomorrow. We'll be live before 8 o'clock tomorrow, watching the whole game together. But I'll have a little drink. I'll have a little snack. Hurts backloaded his contract so much to help the team, though. He backloaded it a little bit, but he put it in a position where it could be restructured, I think, after next season to save the team more money again. Jalen Hurts is still going to get all his money. Jalen Hurts is going to get all the guaranteed money and most of that $255 million. It's the way it was structured gives him the protection, but also helps the team. So it's team-friendly, but only team-friendly because he did it so soon. Team-friendly just means more years of team control. That is accurate as well. I don't know where it is. Then the team can decide when and whether to restructure based on performance. Yes, but Jalen Hurts is still getting all his money. I think the most team-friendly part of some of these contracts is the fact that they don't wait to sign these deals. I just realized huge game Friday. That's a W. What? Carol Girl's going to get wrecked. Well, we'll get to that tomorrow with score predictions. What is the appropriate amount to give up in salary to allow others talented to be signed? I don't think you give up anything. I never hate on players in any sport taking the money and running in free agency. You capitalize when you can. Now, if you want to capitalize in a way that keeps the current roster together or you structure it certain ways Who was it? Was it Ohtani that signed his contract and deferred like so much of it to later? That's all cool and all. But you're going to get your money one way or another. Good morning, Eric. The gatekeeper of the Philluminati is here finally. What's up, my man? Hope you are well. Who you like for Friday Brazil game? Which one's the Brazil game? I forget which game is the Brazil game. I'll try to do all my predictions for week 1 tomorrow on the show. But I don't have them done just yet. So we will look at that tomorrow on the show. But if you give me the game, who Chiefs versus Chargers, where is it? In KC or LA? I mean, it's KC either way. Closer blowout. Give me. Well, it's I guess it's in Brazil, so it's both of them are home or away technically. Give me. Yeah, it's Brazil. It's not Brazil. That was old school. That was just for Eagles in Brazil. It's just Brazil now. Give me the Chiefs in Brazil. Give me Patty Mahomes and Mr. Travis Kelce and Andy Reid and that experience to win that game. Ballpark, give me 30-24. Chiefs win that game. 3 fantasy teams. That's 3 fantasy teams. Too much. No, it's just Brazil. That was old school. Just like we don't do the cherry bombs anymore. We don't go old school. We stay in the present. Okay? The I have no sponsor hotline still exists. Okay? Yes, Travis will be taking her name, Travis Swift. That's right. Okay, we want Phil predictions soon. So all predictions are tomorrow. Probably won't do a Friday show because we'll be up so late on Thursday night. So I will try to get all my predictions out tomorrow. Or maybe we'll do some of the predictions during the live stream on Thursday night as well. You should pick the Eagles soon. Well, we'll do that tomorrow. I can't give you my Eagles prediction today. I did my record predictions for every team yesterday. So, yeah, it is what it is. We're up to 17 likes on this show. No new subscribers today, but we're still sitting at 617. But keep pounding those buttons, guys. I'd appreciate it. How do we have 20 votes but only 17 likes? Means there's people not doing their job. Go through Eagles season. I did that all yesterday. I'm not doing it again today. You can go watch yesterday's replay. I went through the entire season for the Eagles and every NFL team yesterday. Not doing it again, my man. Just not happening. Just saying. Anyway, what do we got? We got, what, 15 minutes left? So it's time. My second official same-game parlay. So you want a prediction, I'm going to give you a prediction. I gave you one parlay for Eagles-Cowboys yesterday. I will give you one Eagles parlay for tomorrow today. Parlay number 2. Pays 7 plus 720. I got it boosted on Fanatics to plus 864. Over 10.5 receiving yards for Jihaad Dotson. Over 44.5 yards for Dallas Goedert. Eagles minus 6.5. Over 3.5 total touchdowns for the Eagles. Again, over 10.5 for Dotson. Over 40.5 for Goddard. Minus 6.5 Eagles. Over 3.5 touchdowns Eagles. Pays with the boost plus 864. So $10 bet brings you back 86.40. So not bad. That's my second parlay. Okay, I was in Wilmington on vacation. Oh, that sucks. Phil, you should be on the Eagles Pinball halftime show tomorrow with Shane and Deeves. I don't know if I can live stream my own show and do their show at the same time. I'll be live at halftime on this channel doing my own show. I'll be live from 7:40 till the last second of the game tomorrow night. I miss the golden era of Brazilian. No, I don't. Well, I do, but I don't. What do you mean 15 minutes? Show just started. Yeah. Sorry. The show didn't just start. I got work to do, man. I got work. Work. I can't help it that this doesn't pay the bills. Yeah. Anyway, there's something else I want to get into eventually here. Might not be enough time. I haven't even read full details of it. Try to go Hatteras someday. Oh, Hatteras. Yeah, absolutely. This is not Eagles related. This is not Phillies related. This isn't even Sixers. Well, it's slightly Sixers related. Have you guys seen the Kawhi Leonard story that was breaking this morning? Well, I saw it this morning. Maybe it was last night. That he signed an endorsement deal. I believe the way it was said with a fake company to circumnavigate the salary cap with the Clippers? Signed like a $25 million endorsement deal with a fake company that the Clippers owner set up so he can run Kawhi Leonard some money through it. Interesting. It's kind of weird. And if they get found guilty of this, that 2028 first-round pick that we have of the Clippers with this Kawhi Leonard situation, it could become a pretty important pick. I literally saw this story 5 minutes before I went live, so I haven't had a chance to dive deep into it. But could you imagine if this comes out to be true, what could happen to the Clippers, to ownership of the Clippers, to the team? Like, I don't even know how you punish a team for doing that. Got to make the money. Got to make the money. However, nope. What you didn't hear this? I mean, it literally is brand new news. Clippers money. It's basically money laundering to an extent. Oh, what's up, Timmy? Leonard, $28 million from the Clippers fine. Suspension and pick loss should be a lot. Like Minnesota and Joe. I forgot about the Minnesota Joe Smith situation. It's just a wild story. That literally, like I said, Tim, I haven't had the time to research it yet. I just literally saw the information at 7:45, 7:50 this morning. So I don't know all the details. I kind of feel like this probably happens a lot in all of sports. I feel like there's a movie, something in a movie about this, or a TV show at some point. But it's crazy. Absolutely wild. Pablo Torre, he was the one that did report this information. Yes. Imagine the punishment if the Sixers, the Sixers would be shipped off to France, into the European League for doing something like this. Owning a sports franchise is basically money laundering anyway. I mean, yeah, possibly. It's one of those things. I'm not shocked that something like this is coming out, but I am shocked that something like this is coming out. I know that's kind of a weird way to phrase it and say it, but it's just one of those things that it's got to happen more, right? It's got to. But never gets caught, really. Obviously, there was a Joe Smith situation years ago in Minnesota, and I totally forgot all about that. I don't even remember all the details about that. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out into the conversation world. Wanted to throw that out to see what people thought of that insane situation. We'll see. So other things, right before Nick Earnshaw joined us on the hotline, I was about to get into some of the injuries and some of the situations with the Eagles for tomorrow night. They practiced. Today there will be no practice. Today is a day off. Tomorrow's the game. It looks like Tanner McKee will not be available. He's still not practicing at all. Obviously, he's got a broken thumb. What do the Eagles do? Do they roll with just one backup quarterback in Sam Howell? Does Tanner McKee dress as the emergency quarterback? I mean, broken thumb, you can still hand off the football if you got to that situation. Or do they have to waste one of their two practice squad elevations on Kyle McCord to be quarterback 3? I'll be curious on that. Landon Dickerson is good to go. Nick Sirianni said he was fully cleared by the doctors from his knee surgery, so there's no restraints on him, and that's also very good. Minnesota lost 5 first-round picks, owner suspended, Smith deal voided, McHale forced to leave. I remember the forced to leave. I remember there being picks. I didn't remember whether that was 5. Owner suspended. I remember the McHale part. I remember the void. I remember some picks. I didn't remember all the details of that. What year was that, Tim? What was the fake endorsement? Probably load management theme. I know, exactly. All this is going to cost the Clippers something, and yet, they still don't. He doesn't play. It's not like he's out there playing 75 games, 80 games a year for them, and they haven't won anything with him. Now, hopefully, losing a draft pick that shouldn't affect the Sixers. One that they own. But you might say they lose 5 first-round picks and one goes. That would be 6 straight years with no first-round picks. That franchise would become a disaster with that. That'd be crazy. But yeah, maybe we could trade Paul George back to them in some way. Which, by the way, did you guys see whatchamacallit, iShowSpeed or iSpeed Show, whatever that dude's name is, was at Eagles practice yesterday and in Philly yesterday, and he said something he was in a car with Paul George. He's like, oh, why you live? He's like, I don't, I just play here. Paul George does not like being in Philly. Also, there's fans jumping fences to try to get close to iSpeed or iSpeed Show, whatever his name, ISS, whatever his name is. And that was kind of funny. Fans trying to jump the field, not to see Eagles players, but to see him. He also says he could beat Saquon Barkley in a foot race next offseason. We'll see if that ever happens. Smith was a reported 1-year contract, but was really a $86 million 7-year deal. Jesus. Are you Googling this, Tim, or do you have the greatest memory in the history of the world? Because I remember in theory it happening, but I remember none of these details. And I'm talking, so I can't research it in the middle of the show. But man, it was crazy. I just thought it was one of those weird stories that just kind of came out of nowhere. If the Clippers are found guilty, it should void Paul George's contract. Exactly. I think that should be part of his punishment. They should have to be forced to take on Paul George's contract for us. Paul George is from sunny Southern California. They don't like the East Coast. Then why sign in the East Coast? Because nobody else wanted you. Just so you know, I'm not bringing up the Sixers for the first time. That was all Nick Earnshaw when he was here talking Phillies. He's the one that brought up the Sixers for the first time, not me. But yeah, 9 more minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm not in a super rush today. I do got to go make the pizza. I got to go make the money. But yeah, of course, what it was absolutely because of the money. No doubt about it that it was about the money at all. So we've got all these Eagles things going on. We got the Philly situation, big game tonight against the Brewers. I think there's a chance that today we might hear the breaking news of Reed Blankenship getting his contract extension. From my source, it could happen today. It might happen tomorrow morning, but it's going to happen. He did announce that he's with a new agency, Athletes First, the same agency that represents Nolan Smith, Tanner McKee, Trot Jr. So the Reed Blankenship extension, per my source, is still happening and will be happening, hopefully, very soon. Paul George was signed as Morey's idea to get a huge splash. Morey is all style, no substance, successful, but not a guy that doesn't get in his own way. Yeah, look, I don't even want to argue or discuss or break down or think about how much a disaster the Sixers are going to be and how much of a disaster Daryl Morey is. The only thing that I hope is that we're 6 months closer to next season being over, and maybe when next season's over, we finally get off of Daryl Morey and can start moving this franchise forward. Because until Daryl Morey moves on, this franchise is going to continue to suck. Morey gets in our way, too. He gets in everybody's way. Every day when we talk Sixers this season, all I am going to do is constantly say it's one day closer to the season being over. And I know it's a depressing way to think about it, that I can't wait till the season's over before training camp has even started. Imagine thinking this terrible Sixers team has any hope this year. There are fans out there. There are media members, or young media members, that think that this year will be different because Joel Embiid's going to play more. Paul George is going to be healthy. Paul George and Grimes should be moved at the deadline. If they perform slightly, that will buy Morey another year. They're still one off the top attendance teams. They are one of the top attendance teams. That's crazy. Grimes hasn't even signed his deal yet. I think, no, this is not a knock on Quentin Grimes. He's a nice player, but I think Sixers fans and Sixers media overvalue how good Quentin Grimes really, truly is. He's a nice player. He's a bench player. There's Sixers fans that think that he could be a starter, that he's, what did Grimes want originally, like 4 years, $80 million or something like that? He's not that good. There's a reason why no one even offered him, as a restricted free agent, a contract. They don't like the East Coast because of the East Coast, West Coast beef. Yeah. Suge Knight. Yeah, exactly. East Coast, West Coast. Always. I don't believe that Embiid is going to play at all. I still firmly believe that he will not either, Anthony. I still think if we get 10 games of Joel Embiid this year, that is the high, okay? Grimes will take the offer sheet then, take unrestricted free agency next season. Yeah, absolutely agree. That's probably what happens. But the way fans and media earlier in the offseason spoke of Grimes made you think that There's people that think that he's so much better than that. But he's really not. Give it 3 months when Nurse is forced to play young players after all the vets end up in the season. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to. Let's get off the Sixers. I don't want to talk Sixers. I wanted to talk Kawhi Leonard situation briefly just to address it. But that's it. Basketball is what? A month away? And I could care less. In an ATA purposes retired. Yep. He was a good player on a team of G Leaguers. He's on his fourth team in two. Exactly. Every bad team, Tim, still has somebody that leads them in stats. Every game in any sport. The worst baseball team has somebody leading them in home runs. Doesn't mean they're a great home run hitter. The New Orleans Saints, who are going to win 2 games this year, in my opinion, still are going to have someone that leads themselves in sacks and touchdowns scored. Doesn't mean those players are good. Yeah, he's retired, in my mind as well. He's just trying to keep that money flowing in. And why not, right? I mean, the Sixers and Daryl Morey were dumb enough to give him the contract. He might as well take that money. Why not? Sixers fans are picking apart every little thing, and this whole thing with PG and Speed is a reach, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I'm just screwing around with it. It's all about, is it speed? Is it I show speed or I speed show or whatever? I don't even know. I thought it was funnier him interacting with Saquon, and there was a fan jumping over the fence at Eagles practice, running across the field. Security goes to talk, and Speed is like looking like worried about it, and Saquon's just sitting there like looking at Big Dom like, I ain't worried. He ain't getting anywhere near us. That was probably the best of all the videos. I show Speed. Gotcha. I mean, I know his stuff. I know he was in wrestling there for a minute. Saints are so stupid for not drafting Sanders. They're so stupid for not giving us 5 first-round picks for Tanner McKay, who isn't even healthy for week 1, right? But yeah. That's it. So we covered a lot today. Eagles don't want you tailgating because of the SEPTA situation. Sirianni's not going to have the players on the field for the banner celebration. Eagles defense. Will it finish in the NFL ranks again? The best in the NFL got 22% of the votes. Top 5, 48%. Top 10, 13. Outside the top 10 got 17% of the votes. It's insane. Are you nuts? They're not going to be that bad, the defense. Tomorrow on the show, we will do our preview and prediction. How can and will the Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys? We'll go matchups. The biggest matchup being CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens against Quinyon Mitchell and who? Not worried about their run offense at the Packers or the Cowboys. We'll see. I got to do a little bit more research on who's on their defense still. Saints are going to draft Arch next year. Someone is. 6 first-round picks now. Yeah. Yesterday's price was 5. Today he's injured, so it goes up to 6 first-round picks. They could outscore them. Who? The Eagles will outscore the Cowboys. I would hope. But anyway. That was a very entertaining, productive show today. And again, a very big shout out to Nick Earnshaw. And guys, if you enjoyed the Nick Earnshaw interview, I did link his brand new YouTube channel in the thing. He just started it last week, so it's only got 25, 30 subscribers. But check it out. And of course, he's always on ESPN 97.3 in Jersey, and he does a lot of other work. So find him on social medias. He's a fast riser in this media business in the Philadelphia region, and he's going to have big things happening to him. So make sure you guys check out his work. And he said tonight on his channel, he is going to have on his show tonight a former 2008 Phillies World Series champion. Don't know who it is. He didn't even give me that information. So if you want to check out that interview, do it on his YouTube channel tonight, which is linked below. You asked how could you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they have to outscore him to win. My key to victory is whoever scores more points wins. Thanks, Anthony, for that one. I missed that deep joke right there. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up for the day. Lots to get into tomorrow as we preview the game with the Cowboys. Who knows what else comes across the wire today, but we'll cover it all. Guys, thank you very much. Like, share, subscribe. If you're watching on replay, I check it all out. Look forward to more shorts. Hopefully we got some good shorts with Nick Earnshaw today. We'll see what the short videos are, but guys, Got to wrap it up. We're going to say goodbye for today. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Go Birds! Bubbles up.